Okay, here we go into game 2 of Fatality versus Don't Care. Game 1 obviously won by Don't Care here, so this is the losers match in Group D, and whichever team gets taken out here will be out of the HoN Tour Season 2 playoffs, so Fatality here certainly with their backs against the wall. If they drop one game, and then they will be completely done, but Don't Care. If they win here, they will be able to go on to the consolation match and hopefully advance to the second stage of the group finals. So Frood is back. Say hi, Frood.
Hello, I'm quickly becoming a regular, it seems.
Yeah, it's like occasionally we'll see it, but that's better than never. So, uh, am I crazy or did Fatality switch up some players? I think they did. I think Papa and Imperception are different. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure those guys are
Yeah,
not in the
this
last
is
game.
not the exact same lines. I think only the tagged up players are the same.
Yeah. So perhaps something strange going on there. I don't know if they couldn't play or if they or which of these players is the actual like team, the typical five man. Obviously, we don't really know too much about this team, but hopefully they'll be able to play a little better this game. They got run over by a weird strat with that rampage last game that I don't think neither of us expected to work, and it sort of did, which was strange. But hey, crazy stuff happens sometimes. Bans are out here. Grinix, Keeper of the Forest, Ophelia, and Tempest. Nothing too surprising for that. From my perspective, a couple of suicides in Keeper and Grinix, and then two junglers in Oph and Tempest, as well as Keeper, who shows up in the jungle every so often now, or actually probably more often than he does as the suicide role. But certainly lots of powerful heroes. Anything strange for you there?
No, those are all fairly standard. I haven't seen Grinex work phenomenally well to warrant the amount of bans he gets, but I guess he's worth something because he gets banned quite frequently.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say that's a game-changing hero so much as I think people hate playing against it just because like the Shadow Step's annoying with the positioning it does, and laning against a Grinix is extremely problematic because Riftstock just gives you so much mobility and that extra auto attack damage coming out of it. I've actually seen quite a few lanes where Grinix doesn't do very well in terms of CS, but hits 6, and is doing some harass damage throughout, and then they hit 6 or 5 or something like that, get some levels in the Rift Stock and the Shadow Step, and then they will kill a short laner. So um, I think it's a fairly worthy ban there. If it were me, I might ban it just because I hate Grinix and I don't like to play that hero, and so getting rid of it wouldn't really hurt me that much. But yeah, I'm not entirely convinced it's worth an initial ban. But the Legion side has finished up their picks here. Pestilence, Rich Tag, and Rhapsody. Like all of those, Pesty Rap, one of my favorite lanes, extremely powerful staccato suns into Impale, and then you can get a ton of kills. And Wretched Tag, of course, very versatile hero, does very well in all stages of the game, and just generally a very strong pick. So what are you expecting here from Legions? Probably looking for a Suicide or a Jungler and a second support. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have the hag to suicide if they want to. I
Right.
think we'd be more likely to see her as a short laner or a mid, depending on what they think the Hellborn team is going to do. I wouldn't be too surprised to see something like a Bubbles versus Hag mid matchup. But if they pick a support to go along with the Kraken, or say something like a Gauntlet or any other mid laner, a Moa, something like that, then they'll definitely want to send the Pessy Rap mid.
Yeah, I'm thinking Pessy Rap mid is pretty much going to be what's happening. I mean, Hag does mid every so often, but that lane is just too strong, and it's not really worth it to waste it on a short lane. The only other situation I could see if they pick up a second support here, they could grab a tri lane, go aggressive, and that'd be pretty powerful. But we'll see what they do there.
What kind of support would you want to see them pick up for that tri lane?
I'm thinking the Master's probably a nice choice. Just anything with a stun really is the best. So Master would be solid, Torture, Witch Slayer, even Pyromancer, Illumina. Um, just as long as you've got a third stun in that lane, because really in any tri-lane situation, if you have 3 stuns, you can basically get a kill unless you're going up against another tri-lane. If it's a dual lane or a short laner, it doesn't really matter what the opposing hero is. 3 stuns is generally a kill. So if you're going to run a tri-lane, I'm thinking there's just too many supports now that have good stuns and good lockdown to not pick up one of those if you're going to go for the tri-lane meta, but we haven't really seen that all that often, so I'd be a little surprised if it comes out. Hellborn side, meanwhile, Kraken, Bubbles, and Engineer, so lots of powerful heroes there. Engineer not as prevalent as he once was, but still a very powerful hero. Kraken and Bubbles, of course, extremely versatile. Could theoretically be put in all three lanes, although I'm not a fan of the Bubbles short. How about you?
I actually do like Bubbles short. Bubbles with a quick blink dagger becomes a really strong initiator, and his ultimate sets up the Engineer ultimate and the Kraken ultimate so well that I wouldn't actually hate to see Bubbles in the short lane this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly some good ulti synergy there, so they'll be able to team fight very well. The only reason I don't like it very much is because it seems like a waste of the short lane, because Bubbles can do just fine in mid or even as a suicide. It's not quite as powerful, but a Bubbles mid is, I mean, really, is it that much worse than a short lane Bubbles? I don't think so. And then if you can put a right-click carry in that short lane, instead of having to put them mid or suicide or something like that, because you obviously wouldn't do that, it seems like it opens up your lanes a little bit more, and then of course with the rune control, Bubbles is very good at that. He loves runes. He's a heavy ganker, so it seems like mid offers him a little bit more mobility. He's more likely to be involved in kills, and I think that's pretty definitely not going to happen here because
Yeah,
with the
now that
Rav,
they have the Ravener, I think they have to put that top.
I think he goes suicide now. I think it's going to be a suicide Bubbles, short lane Kraken, engineer Rav mid, and we'll see a second support probably for uh, the short lane Kraken or for a tri lane with Rav. Yeah, actually, NG Rav
I
second support
I'd
tri
like
lane.
the I'd like the tri lane more than I'd like to see. I don't love Kraken as being supported mid. I just don't feel
No,
it's incredibly strong. I think he's better off alone.
yeah, he likes the experience and he doesn't really need the second support to keep him alive. He's pretty strong defensively with the massive amount of strength he has plus the charge. And it's not like even with the second support he's the most dangerous hero in terms of getting kills. He just doesn't have like the reliable stun that you'd want, and his mana pool isn't big enough to allow him to spam spells. So yeah, I do prefer him in the short, or in the solo role. But I think if you put a solo short crack and a mid bubs and a aggressive tri lane here with NG Rab and a third stunner, that could be extremely powerful. Uh, Legion side though, picking up the War Beast, so I'm going to assume that's going to be a suicide, and we're looking for another support here. So now I'm thinking Hag middle, and okay, War Beast jungle.
I think it's gonna have to be a Warbeast jungle Drunken Master with the Rhapsody maybe. No, I've seen Drunken Master suicide or a few times
Yeah,
and he doesn't do very well. I saw one game where was it Fuzi absolutely dominated a solo short Jeremiah as Drunken Master.
yeah, I think we watched that game, and it was pretty insane. DM, I don't really have an issue with him in the suicide role, especially because I suspect we're going to see an aggressive tri-lane here from Hellborn, and Drunken Master versus Kraken should be just a fine matchup for him. I would be more concerned about that Hag in the short lane, and I expect that's going to be a short lane Hag with Warbeast in the jungle. Warbeast is not going to be able to help Hag whatsoever. So if we see
Which
triple
jungle do you
stuns
think
here,
Warbeast is gonna be in?
I would,
Because if Warbeast goes into that top jungle, they might have some chances at killing a Kraken. It won't be easy, but that's a lot of damage
yeah.
during fairly decent lockdown and displacement.
My only concern with that is it's gonna. I can't imagine Warbeast is gonna be able to do that before he hits 6, and that means Kraken's probably also gonna hit 6 because Warbeast isn't the fastest jungler initially. So if you've got a level 6 Kraken that can drop the release to Kraken and charge away, I wonder if that's actually gonna be a kill. So I don't know. I think I'd prefer him in Legion jungle just because there's a slight chance he'll be able to come gank bot, and it is the Pyromancer last pick here for Hellborn, so I do expect to see that tri-lane here. We could see dual lanes as well, but I really would prefer the aggressive tri-lane, and I think that you're of a similar opinion on that, yeah.
Yeah, and that tri lane, I like it, but it's not going to be easy to pick up kills on Hag because they
No,
don't have any of those reliable stuns. The
exactly.
Keg and the Ravener are both fairly easy to dodge. Pyromancer is slightly harder, but play at this level, they shouldn't have big problems with that.
And I mean, the cast time on that Dragonflame is pretty substantial, so, if Hag is moving around a lot, moving erratically, there's a reasonable chance she could avoid it. Actually, no, it is going to be a suicide Hag. So, up against the solo short Kraken, actually, she should have just a fine time up here, using that haunt to harass, and she might actually win this lane. So, that's actually a pretty solid lane call, I think, here from Legion. I think they are expecting the aggressive try, which is exactly what's going to happen. So, Hellborn lanes, we both figured this is going to happen, and this is exactly what is going to happen. And I think the Legion are going to respond to this very appropriately with the Suicide Hag and what looks to be a bot Rhapsody Pesty now, as DMs have
I
mid.
really don't like putting up a dual lane against a tri-lane,
Yeah.
because against two harassers like that, Pestilence is going to get no farm whatsoever.
Yeah. And it's not
However,
like
they
Pesty.
should... No, they don't know the tri-lane's there yet because Engineer stood back.
It's not like Pesty is going to have a really reliable escape mechanism either. I mean, with the Impale, he'll be able to stop some stuff. Staccato will help out, so will the Dance Lure, but this is not going to be like, oh, I can blink away, like with Hag. So if you don't keep me continuously stunned, I'm going to live here. Pesty could be in some trouble. And actually, okay, this is just weird. What? Okay, so they're sending Pesty Rap mid, and this is going to be a solo Drunken bottom. And it looks like Hellborn are adjusting to this, and they're going to send a dual lane, or is Pyro just warding? He's going to put some harass onto Pestilence here, so... I like the mid lane here from Legion. Rhapsody and Pestilence is one of my favorite lanes. It's extremely powerful. The problem is, they're not going to kill Bubbles. Ever. They're never, ever, ever going to kill Bubbles. Unless Bubbles misplays pretty horribly. So, he won't get too much farm here, but he also won't be able to... he won't die, and that's, you know, Pesty wants kills. And on this tri-lane on bot, it's going to be substantially in favor of the Hellborn side, as Drunken's just, I don't even know what he's doing, man, because he's in danger right now. It looks like Pyro's faking that Dragon Flame. And you skipped through the pause, yes?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
And
good.
nice
Yeah,
dodge to get away from the keg, and he'll be fine for now.
Yeah. But this DM is just going to be completely locked down. Because even with the stagger, I can't imagine that he's going to, you know, like level 2, level 3, all of a sudden just going to be sit behind the creep wave, because there's no way you're going to live if you get any closer than that. And, I mean, the other part of the problem with this is...
Another stun.
Nice ball lightning.
And another dodge, and another dodge. Oh, no, fake, yep.
Finally, Dragon Flame comes out, and DM's just running around.
Nice play from the Drunken there.
Yeah.
And
he
he
Ravener really low.
could get the Ravener right now if he knocked him into the tower.
Ravener played a little safe, though. Takes a pot. There's the stagger forward. Are we going to see the line? No. Interesting. He didn't decide to stun there. That would have been a pretty close to a kill. In fact, he's just going to charge.
Nicely waiting for the keg. Drunken Master doing way too well in this tri-lane.
Yeah, like, I don't understand what's going on here for the Hellborn side. Like, the tower die was a pretty big problem. Regen rune bot for Ravener. Oh, that's painful. That's just about the best possible rune he could have gotten right there. And that's pretty much the only thing that's going to allow him to stay in this tri-lane, is the Engineer's getting harassed down by DM as well. Won't die. Ball Lightning is just dodged.
But he could have just thrown that. He had the regen still, so it didn't cost him any mana. And Pyro coming in behind. He's in trouble here.
Ball Lightning's still on cooldown for a bit. But the other problem, of course, with DM versus Hag is DM's melee. There, and it's going to keep happening. There goes the keg and the Dragon Flame. Everything hits, but they stacked stuns pretty hard there.
Yeah, they did. They didn't... I think they have to, though, because that lunge is... Or the stagger's getting him out of danger every time. I think they had to try and do pure nuke damage. And keep in mind that now the Pyro's 2, and had they... Oh, diving again.
There's the Ball Lightning. That's a death. So there goes Drunken Master finally. But like I kept trying to say before they just stop fighting, you guys. I'm trying to make a point. If there was a Hag here, she wouldn't have to play up next to the creep wave, and she could dodge that Ball Lightning initiation so easily. With DM's positioning right next to the creep wave, and therefore right next to Ravener, he's eating Ball Lightnings every single time, and that's basically what's killing him here. So if he play a little more
Charge in from Kraken, interesting choice, but Hag has no mana, so he's fine.
Up top, Warbeast, though, in the jungle, possibly looking for something, but Kraken will pop health pot, so he'll be fine. So keep focusing on this bottom lane just because they keep trying to kill this Drunken Master, and of course they finally succeed, although it took way longer than it should have. Pyromancer grab the illusion on bot. We'll send one fake bottom and two to the middle lane, so perhaps looking for something here on Pestilence. But Bubbles is not quite 6 yet, so that'll be a bit of an issue.
And Rhapsody's back.
Drunken Master jumping on this engineer on bottom, but just putting some harass out, and actually doesn't even take very much damage. He's level 5, Rav's level 3, Illusion Pyromancer's going to come in here, but they're going to realize that quickly as he jumps in on Engie again.
And then
stun. Wasted.
on the illusion.
So DM now about half mana, and if he saves up a bit, he could go for this engineer. With a stagger and a lunge, he'd probably get close to killing him, and if he dodges the keg, I think he could kill him. So it'll take a pretty good play here from DM, but there's a kill opportunity there. And that's not really what you're looking for when you have an aggressive tri-lane here running up against a solo Drunken Master. You don't want to be in danger. It's kind of silly. Anyway, comes the CS over here. DM's at 19-0 compared to a 17-4 Ravener.
That is really just sad for this Hellborn team.
Like, come on now. I mean, yeah, they have the kill, so DM's only at 200 GPM and Rav's at 232, but what the hell? Like,
and they seem to have given up on the tri-lane.
Yeah.
Pyro's gone mid, going on Rhapsody.
And they're gonna
Will the stun be enough? No.
Nope. Stick out. Oh, yeah, just enough for the last auto attack from
Pyro could be in trouble if he gets one stun here. Very
Doesn't even
nice.
need it. Yeah, there's the Impale. And actually, Bubbles, nope, not going to go on. There's a Shell Serp. Not going to follow up either. So, manning down a little bit from both sides, but trades there. Probably slightly in favor of the Hellborn side, as Rhapsody's level 4 and Pyro's only level 3. But 1 for 1 nonetheless. And now Bubbles is, of course, 6 because we saw that Kelp Field get dropped. And he'll be a little more able, now 7, a little more able to, you know, use support to set up ganks and kills. And so resource control relatively even here, as the jungler on Legion side is actually not doing super well. Warbeast at 230 gold per minute, and considering he hasn't ganked at all, that's not that impressive. Choosing to switch jungles, of course, he started out in the Hellborn, so now he's back to the Legions, as I guess he was chased out. But, not a great play there. I believe Parasite was still open, too, so a little interesting that they chose not to go for that, especially considering how well Parasite can combo with, say, that Pesty Rappa mid, maybe even Drunken Master bot, or Hag on top. There's a lot of burst damage between all of those heroes, and quite a bit of lockdown as well, so Warbeast's choice
Warbeast has come to bot jungle. And are you surprised that he hasn't taken any points in Battlecry? I know they nerfed it recently, but it's such a strong skill giving damage to everybody.
Yeah,
Ravener a little bit of trouble here.
Throws the ball lightning, but he's going to die here because there's the Bat Blast. Will help finish him off, and there it is. Meanwhile, in mid, Rhapsody does fall to a 3-man gank squad from the Hellborn side, so trading there obviously in favor of Legion as they pick off the Ravener and lose their hard support and Rap, but 1 for 1 exchange nonetheless. Yeah, that's the wrong build. Like, for a jungle Warbeast, okay, that's not fair. For a jungle Warbeast, it's probably the right build, but this is sort of the problem with jungle Warbeast is he needs so much mana to keep wolves up, and his mana at early levels especially is bad as Ball Lightning gets dodged, and we've got 4 heroes coming in here from the Hellborn side with a couple of ports. Hag's gonna blink away, and Warbeast is just gonna die. Takes the charge and gets killed. So they do get bot tower, but lose Warbeast in the process, and not a terrible trade, but not a great one. Yeah, as really the issue with Warbeast is mana. So if you put him in the jungle and you give him not only the wolves to have to get put up all the time, but the battle cry as well, he will just never have any mana ever for any reason. Drunken Master jumping in on Pyro in the middle, and he will get destroyed. And he just tries to put down the stun, but doesn't hit anybody. DM finding a pick on a solo Pyro. So you're sort of between a rock and a hard place in that skill build, because you're right, like you do want that battle cry to give to your team, but it's not
because in
helpful.
That kind of situation, battle cry, they would have taken the tower and not lost the Warbeast.
Very possibly. But at the same time, if you just don't have the mana to do it, it's not very helpful because like you can't ever use it. So it's useless points in the jungle because you're basically just never ever going to be able to spam that ability as much as you need to. And we're looking at another mid-fight here. This mid-tower will go down. Dragonflame and the Release of Kraken hit 2 actually as Warbeast in a ton of trouble here, choosing not to pop the ultimate for some reason. Impel stun onto 2. So Warbeast dies first, but Drunken Master going to get a kill on Engineer here, and Kraken now has bugs on him. Kelpfield goes on to 3, doesn't hit DM for some reason. Shell Surf through on Bubbles, and Kraken will charge away. In the meantime, Rhapsody gets picked off, so does Rush.
I think Drunken Master is still going to catch this Kraken. He's still got the haunt on him.
And he's got the bugs too, so
he's in trouble.
That's going to be a dead Kraken. One more auto attack, there it is. Stagger finishes off, so 3 for 2 exchange there in favor of the Hellborn. They do lose mid-tower.
For now. Drunken Master in a tiny bit of trouble. No, Pyro didn't take a...
There's no stuns available from Pyro. Oh, he actually does have it, but blocks, DM. Oh my god.
One more attack.
Nope. Not going to have it. Just barely out of range as DM is able
I think if Pyro had taken the shortcut, he might have... He definitely would have had him there.
If he had gone down right to the left instead of following Bubbles around.
Yeah, that's the shortcut I'm talking about, yeah.
Right. He definitely would have had the DM, and it's a little hard to predict the movement there, but usually you don't want to follow the exact same path as your team because you want to cut off all the escape routes. So yeah, I don't know if that was miscommunication there or if Pyro's just not really paying attention, but usually in that situation you're like, oh, well, okay, he's going to chase him down from that direction, I'll chase him down from this direction, so, you know, one of us is going to catch him, possibly both, so... You're right, they probably should have had a kill on DM there, but they don't. And meanwhile, up top we have 4 heroes looking to group up and push and take down their 3rd Tier 1 tower. And Legion side, for a team without too much push, is doing a lot to kill these towers.
I mean, they have Warbeast.
Yeah, but like Warbeast isn't
and
that
he is.
involved. He's been on both.
But he has been there for all the tower kills.
Yeah, Kelfield going down here on Rhapsody. She's in some trouble. Bugs on the Bubbles, but she's just going to get wrecked. Too much damage as her compatriots abandon her. So, I mean, it's not like Warbeast has been consistently sieging these towers, though. They've been pretty low when they've been coming in, and Warbeast hasn't exactly been like, oh, I'm here, I'm going to take down this tower, I'll come back, take down some more, so...
Will the Ravener go down before the TP? No, he'll be alright.
Yeah, certainly a strong pushing here in Warbeast, but not that involved so far, I feel like, as Hellborn's not responding with the top tower push of their own, and this should be a kill.
No effort whatsoever by the Legion to stop it.
Instead, they're going to push middle, and shit, they will get some damage out here, but I don't think they're going to get a kill out of it. Ravener setting up for a Ball Lightning off to the side, and Legion going to back off. Ball Lightning will miss. So Legion putting some damage on that mid-secondary tower, but losing top, not really worth it, I don't think. As they're going to retreat into their jungle. And 12 minutes in here, we're actually pretty even. Slight gold lead and experience lead here for the Hellborn side. They're also up 8-5 in hero kills, but I don't think this is insurmountable by any means for the Legion.
No, and if you look at the kills, half of them have been on the Rhapsody, who you kind of expect to have a hard time.
Yeah, especially in this solo support strat with the jungler. You know, your entire emphasis as a Rhapsody right here, as a support hero, is getting those wards down. You have nobody to help you, so your items are basically be crap. And you can see he's sitting on just boots right now. Now he has the Striders. And Kelpfield going down to DM on bot. Bunch of ports coming in. He's in a lot of trouble here. Trying to dodge the Ball Lightning. Doesn't take Kelpfield's stun. Nice evasion there, but he's just
well played. Oh.
Up top, actually. So there goes the Pyro.
And staying in, trying for the Pyro. He got greedy there.
Yeah.
He probably shouldn't have gone for the Pyro.
Well, I don't think he was going to live against that under any circumstance. But meanwhile, Hag
it looked like he was safe to me. The Kelpfield had worn off, and he had some distance. I think he could have gotten out there if he had just run straight south.
I think his concern with that was the Ball Lightning, but he certainly avoided a ton of spells there and got some support from his team. But ultimately, Hellborn dropped Pyro ult, Kelpfield, and Kraken ult. So if it took 3 ults and like 45 seconds to kill that Drunken Master, you know, I can't really blame him for dying in that situation, considering how much was dropped to take him out. So good kill there for the Hellborn, but it took forever. Meanwhile, in mid, Ravener gets dropped by a gang squad as I was watching top tower get sieged. Another pause coming out, and we don't care because of replays, bitches. Pyro will stack a camp up here as Pestilence is looking for a kill, having the flight active and running through the Hellborn jungle. He does have his portal key, so strong initiation there. Hag is looking for her light brand, has enough for the recipe, but Not much else. Drunken Master on Ghost Marcher's Apprentice Robe and Mystic Vestments, so getting a little tanky there. Mystic Vestments. You thinking light brand for him too?
On who?
On Drunken. I mean, sorry, with the Apprentice Robe.
No, I would be really surprised to see a light brand there. I would think they would want slightly more tanky items on him.
I'm just like, I can't figure out what
But
that's
I don't
gonna
know
be.
what else that could be.
Like, it's not going to be a Storm Spirit. Like, I mean, what else could that be? Looks like we're going to see an engagement here in mid as Hellborn want this tower, but Legion aren't going to give it up without a fight. Pesty jumps in with the stun onto 2. Teleport coming in. Bat Blast hits 2 as well. Nice ultimate from Rhapsody as Bubbles will shell surf away and be fine. Looks like Ravagers will be the one to get taken out here. Bubbles actually not fine. Take cover, but the Impel stun kills him, so 2 for 1 here actually. 2 for 2.
Interesting choice. Yeah. Pestilence just walked into the energy field.
Yep, and killed himself. But now we have 3 heroes chasing down this Kraken. Stun onto him, and he's looking for something. Ball Lightning will actually hit Warbeast, and he's going to fall here thanks to a nice turret. Rhapsody in the back forced to get backed off, and Kraken's still alive here. Tanky bastard. And DM's now in a lot of trouble. Ball Lightning going to be up in a few seconds, and he's going to need to run away. He just might be able to get out of this. Ball Lightning not going to hit. So DM will be fine, but 2 for 3 exchange there in favor of the Hellborn side.
And they're probably going to lose the tower now. They've had to back off.
So Hellborn are going to take the tower. They took their opponent's Ancients, and so that's a pretty good fight for them. Grabbing some resource control, grabbing some map control with the kills, the Ancients, and now the tower death. Has the Legion just say no? Jumping in on a Pyro here is Pestilence, but he will eat the Ball Lightning. Pyro's going to die here to an auto attack and a haunt, so actually this tower is going to survive. It's not even deny range, and now Rab's in a little trouble as Pesty wants more, man. Pesty's playing super aggressive here.
Kraken stole the ancient the Legion held ancients, well,
Yep.
giving up the tower for them. But I think an okay trade. I mean, they're going to get that tower eventually, whereas that's gold that's now forever gone from this Hellborn team, or Legion team. I don't know if it was stacked or not.
No, it was just a single stack. So, it's always what you want to do, resource management right there. I don't understand what the hell this Apprentice Robe is going to turn into. Now he's got a Mighty Blade, so...
So he might have just wanted the mana and planned eventually to go for the whole Dawnbringer, but if he's getting an Ogre Axe now, like, it seems odd that he's doing so much stat buildup, but you really don't want to ever do the Ogre Axe first. It's by far the weakest of the 3 items. And again, 4 teleports coming in.
And huge Rhapsody
Perfect NG ult.
But Rhapsody preventing all sorts of damage. Still 2 heroes, now 3 heroes going to fall. Rhapsody in a ton of trouble as well. She's on the run, and I don't think she's going to live through this. Mid tower actually gets denied, amazingly enough, as Hag grabs that. Tries to die to Aegis, but Rhapsody will fall here. So 4 for nothing plus a tower, though it is denied. As that was a massively awesome fight for the Hellborn, dropping all sorts of ultimates, of course. NG, Kraken, and Kelpfield all going down. And that's the problem.
And it really was the NG ult that they all teleported into, so landed and were instantly silent. Like,
Rhapsody actually had a pretty solid ult in the background too, preventing a lot of damage, but, you know, you can only channel that for so long before everybody's like, focus that damn Rap, and then she dies in half a second because she has Striders and a Mana Potion as the entirety of her items.
and I don't know how long he's had it, but this engineer has a portal key already, and 1,400 gold on top of it. He's doing really well.
255 gold per minute for him, 4-2 and 7.
269 on the Pyro, like,
yeah.
These supports have a lot of money.
They really do. I think it's that, you know, there's 2 towers down in mid, there's 1 down in top, and there's 1 down in bot, plus, you know, it's 16 hero kills in 18 minutes, and they've both been involved in over 10 or 11, so...
And now the lead is swinging hard in favor of Hellborn.
Yeah. Not to mention, this is, I mean, they're going to be very powerful in this stage of the game with Pyro's nukes all leveled up, Bubbles' stuff is all leveled up, Kraken's going to be hitting level 16 relatively soon, so... Legion are going to have some issues surviving, I think, at this point, because Hellborn, the pub train, is just going to be way too powerful. I mean, the energy ult, the kelp field, the release of Kraken, all of that coming up in team fights, all on somewhat short cooldowns. I mean, they can team fight once every couple of minutes. and have all those ultimates up. So this is going to be a bit of an issue here for Legion, I think. As
Invis Ravener thinking about going on Pestilence at the Ancients. Oh, Drunken Master's right there. This is not a good idea for Ravener.
He's going to steal that Ancient Infect and Portal Key away. That's got to be annoying. Dragon Master dies. You do all that work and just... No. But if they manage to survive here, I think Legion do have a late game at this point with the Warbeast and Hag. And
I don't know. The Kraken and the Ravener, and just the team fight
jump
from
here
this
on bot
Hellborn
as
team.
Energy Field going to go down. Rhapsody throwing the ultimate for no reason. And she'll
Yeah, I
get
wonder
destroyed.
why she did that. Although, I also wonder why Hellborn used so many ults. It seemed...
Legion Courier is picked off as well. I don't know, easy pick.
Where was... That was just a huge misplay by the Legion team. Their courier had no reason to be out there.
Maybe somebody didn't send it back or something, I don't know. But usually that's just an automatic function, so yeah, secondary tower going to fall here on bottom, as up top Hag is pushing one as well, but of course not going to be nearly as effective. Port coming in, so they're also going to defend this top tower. Actually, Port's cancelled. So instead, they're just going to choose to push this out again. Rhapsody's back alive. Hag does have a teleport, but this secondary tower here, or this base tower, is falling pretty damn fast. And I don't know what's taking the Legion side so long to react to this, because they're going to lose this tower. Not quite enough, but...
Is there a way to see the glyph timers?
Not that I have found.
S2 should get on that, because that would be nice to know as a caster.
I would like to see a lot of stuff. I would like to see stashes. I would like to see glyph timers. I would like to see experience, so I can know exactly how close somebody is to 6 or something like that.
Congor timer would be nice.
Congor timer would also be nice, although you can do that with, you know, manually a little bit. Although, really, who's doing that? Come on. But yeah, it seems like, especially when it comes to replays, you should be able to do that stuff. I can understand why a spectator might not get that sort of thing, because they want to be... Like a Congor timer for a spectator could help you out a lot if you're spectating somebody in game, but as a replay, you'd think there'd be a lot more stuff you could do here. But at the same time, I don't want to bash them too hard. I mean, the replays are reasonably impressive. Like, there's quite a lot of stuff you can do with it.
It's certainly... Yes, their UI, I think, is a lot better than Dota's for replays and spectators, even.
So one thing that we can confidently say, I think, somewhat, that S2 has done better than Valve. It's not a long list, but there's a few things. I gotta say the shops, too. That's... Man, Dota has to get rid of that. I love having everything in one shop. Rhapsody gonna get caught out a little bit here. There goes the portal key into the ball lighting, and bam.
Oh, you're talking about Dota's secret shop?
Yeah. I hate that.
Yeah. When your team is locked down and you have 3,000 gold and you could finish your wing bow and, oh, you don't get to go to the observatory.
Nope. Because that makes sense. And they gotta fix Roshan, too. They did a really good thing in buffing Congor the way they did, because Roshan in Dota 2 just dies in a couple of seconds, like when you hit those long games. Just like, oh, they're gonna take Roshan here, and now Roshan's dead. And now they have a token and some cheese and stuff like that, and they win the game because they're dire, and Roshan dies in 4 seconds.
Well, the fact that level 7 heroes can solo him is just silly.
Yeah. It's the last side of our tower here, falling from the Legion side, and Hellborn looking once again for a base push here. Hag all the way on bot, still does have a port. Warbeast is coming back to base. So we're going to look for an engagement here as Hellborn are just once again destroying this tower, and Legion done. Here comes Pesty. Where's the jump? Not going to find it as Hellborn back off. They see Legion heroes coming in and they're just like, we're going to do a bunch of damage to your tower, you're not going to initiate on us, then we're going to leave. And as a result, both the top and bottom base towers are pretty damn low.
Storm Spirit finished on Bubbles. Do you want to take a look at the items?
Yeah, Bubbles has Storm Spirit, Portal Key, Steam Boots, so he's pretty mobile. Going to be able to save some heroes there, including himself. Kraken has a breastplate on top of a Helm of Black Legion Steam Boots, so he's tanky like a boss. Ravener with a Portal Key, that's all he's got. Kind of sad considering his start, but he does have 2,200 gold saved up, so we'll see what he goes into there. I'm guessing it's going to be... Well, I want to say Shrunken Head, but there's so much damn physical damage here on the Legion side. That seems sort of stupid. But with the Hag and the Rhapsody, what do you think? I'm on the fence on that one.
I wouldn't like it. It won't help him against Drunken Master. It won't really help him against Pestilence. It won't help him against War Beast. And those are the strong heroes, the heroes who have been doing most of the damage. Though Hag is level 14 now. Yeah. Slowly catching up to Kraken, but...
I mean, I think Hag's a problem, and the Rhapsody's a bit of an issue too with the stuns. More than the damage, it's getting locked down. Then again, you have 2 physical stuns here on the Legion side as well, so... Yeah, that's a 50-50. Like, I think if he went for the Shrunken, I wouldn't hate it, but if he also decided to pass it up, I wouldn't really hate that either. But
well, he also just isn't threatening right now. Like,
yeah.
Because he went for that PK first, he has the initiation, but no real damage to follow it up.
That's true. Jump here with Pesty hitting 2 stuns. Drunken Master will get a bunch of damage down and just kill this Engineer, but his ultimate goes off anyway. Rhapsody falls in the pack, so does Warbeast, getting destroyed. Kraken ultimate going to get a bunch of damage under Drunken Master here. He puts the ultimate up, trying to run away. Will just be successful as, man, Ravener
Interestingly,
falls.
Ravener just let himself die. He sat there tanking the tower and never made any efforts to get out of it. But they're still likely to get the barracks here, I think.
Jump here on
Pesty back in.
Dragon Flame there, though, onto Hag, and she gets wrecked. Shell Surf, and Pesty will get chased in a little bit, but forced to go back to base. So 3 for 2 there in favor of the Hellborn side, of course, losing Engineer and Ravener. Not a big deal. Pesty going to hit 3 with a stun there. Drunken Master coming back in, will be able to help finish on Bubbles. No, Storm Spirit goes up, but he's still going to die here. Thanks to that, perplex mechanism. Now he's going to take a Torrent, looking for a kill onto Pyra, who has the bugs on her, and bam! That physical damage, man. Kraken will be able to pour it out here. So, Legion side loses Rax, but they get a bunch of hero kills on those Hellborn heroes, and I think something we haven't addressed yet so much is Drunken Master plus Pestilence. That ultimate and DM's damage is...
Yes,
funny.
He is hitting really hard, and he seems to have sold that apprentice robe, so no idea why he had it in the first place. Probably just wanted mana, though a little surprised he never picked up a chalice, because it's pretty standard on Drunken Master from what I've seen.
I mean, that would make a lot more sense to me than just basically wasting, some gold, 225 gold or whatever, on an apprentice robe that you're going to hang out with, because it's not like apprentice robe is going to give you that much mana or mana regen. It's a decent item, but it's not really something I would buy for the regen purposes. I'd rather have a scarab, to be honest. It's cheaper.
Exactly.
And it'll give you more regen.
Barbed and more efficient, yeah. Barbed picked up on Ravener. I got to admit I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either. That's not bad, actually, especially because he is so damn squishy and he doesn't have a lot of damage right now. That's a pretty efficient way for him to get damage out. It's basically going to mean he's going to die, but I think he's resigned to that anyway. As he is playing that initiator, I'm going to jump in, I'm going to put the ball lightning down. I'm probably going to get focused pretty hard, so Barbed Armor will do a bunch of damage, and it's not like I'm going to live through most of these fights anyway. He doesn't have enough health, he doesn't have enough move speed to get away, so... That's
Do you know if Hag activates her Shrunken Head, which she's going to have in about 700 gold here, will it return damage that's done magically, no damage at all? How does that work?
I believe it will return damage that is done magically. Any damage that's done by to him should returns 80% of damage taken. So I would imagine that's just pure damage that goes straight through the shrunk.
Hellborn attempting Kongor here. They really don't have very many wards. They have one in the jungle, but it's not helping that at all.
And Warbeast Wolf will scout them. So Legion side know this is happening, and it looks like they're trying to do something about it, but I'm not sure if they can. Ultimates are up for the Hellborn side, so if they jump here, Staccato stuns onto Engineer, so... He's probably well aware that now the Legion know what's going on, but they're not going to jump this, I don't think. And Kongor is going to drop. There goes the energy field.
Dropping the energy field just to keep them away.
That blast hits too, but actually Kongor is...
He tried to steal with it. That was close.
Engineer going to fall really fast. Kelpfield on the bunch. Rhapsody ultimate saving some damage here, but she'll get focused on very quickly. Pestilence also falling really, really fast. Hag going to get chased down here a bit, but Drunken Master is going to end up being the focus of the Hellborn team's ire. And there's the ball lightning. Going to take the second stun, and Phoenix Wave will finish him off. So 3-for-1 exchange there, as Hellborn lose only their support engineer, pick up a token, and a Kongor kill. So I think they're pretty okay with that engagement. And once again, it's just a situation where the Legion side can't really team fight. I mean, they have the Bat Blast. That's about it.
I'm curious, does the Bat Blast actually do damage from outside of the pit on Kongor? Could that steal have happened? Because I don't think any spells from outside hit. Although, no, they must, because Pharaoh Rockets... No, Pharaoh Rockets don't make him move, do they?
I think they do. I don't know. That's a good question that I haven't really explored, but I believe the Pharaoh Rockets do make Kong move. So, I think the question is basically, does it consider the source of the damage as outside the pit or inside the pit? And I think it considers the source of the damage as inside the pit when it does magic damage. I think it's the right-click auto attacks that just always miss, and since spells can't miss, so I think that's what it is. I think he gets 100% evasion on right clicks outside of the pit, but since that's an evasion factor, that doesn't count spells. So I believe that Bat Blast could have stolen it. Jump in here from Bubbles, but counter jump from Pesty as he gets on it too. Shrunken Head gets popped up there on top of the Storm Spirit, and Hag's looking for counter kills here. Will get Kraken, but she has the token. Kelpfield going on to 4, in fact, but Hag doesn't care as actually Bubbles falls really fast there. Ultimate from Engie going in the background as Rhapsody gets picked off in the background. DM and Warbeast are looking for some more picks. Engineer going to get jumped away, but Pyromancer dying, and oh god, oh my god, there he goes. Stagger finally getting picked up. Torrent onto 2, now Kraken's in some trouble as there's 3 heroes from Legion time picking him off here. Hag coming right back in, probably looking for a kill steal or something. Engineer going to throw the keg out, will hit 2 as Hag jumps back in, but Kraken's still in a ton of trouble here, takes the haunt, and he's going to fall. Impel Sun finishes him off. So excellent fight back here from the Legion side as they take out not only 4 heroes, but they lost the token on the Hellborn side as well. Just a bit sloppy there from Hellborn. It felt like a couple heroes were jumping in without the rest of the team.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly sure what happened to the Bubbles. He shell surfed, and then I don't know if he storm spirited himself or if Pyromancer did it to him, but he never got to jump to the shell surf where he would have been fine and just wound up dying before really getting what he needed to done. He got the ult off, but it wasn't ideal, and he completely could have lived if he had played that slightly better, or maybe Pyromancer threw him in the air during his shell surf and he couldn't jump to it.
Yeah, because when you come down from the Storm Spirit of Force, now you have that slight perplex effect, so you can no longer do things like, throw the Shell Surf Storm Spirit yourself and then immediately port to it, and or Storm Spirit and then Portal Key, because they don't want you to be able to just save yourself that way. It's a little broken. So that's probably what happened there. The Perplex prevented him from pointing to the Shell Surf, and I don't know if that was Pyro or it was Bubbles, but whoever it was, it very possibly could have killed him, as he then ended up in the middle of like 4 Hellborn or Legion heroes and completely got decimated. So he did get a solid Kelpfield, I thought, onto 3 plus the shrunken-headed Hag, but like it didn't matter because that's where the fight was happening anyway. So Kelpfield's only great if it's locking people down, and they're like, well, I didn't want to move anyway, so I don't really care.
Or if you really need 200 damage.
Or that. So, bit of an issue there for the Hellborn side as they come in top with a token, expecting to at least get something, and instead I don't think they're even getting any tower damage, as they lost that fight pretty horribly. And Legion have to feel a little good about that, because you may not agree with me, but I do think they have the late game here. I can't imagine that Kraken and Ravener... I mean, Bubbles isn't really a late game hero. He's annoying, but he's not a right-click threat, and his abilities are slightly aggravating, and if he has a ton of farm, he can get a sheepstick and be a problem, but he's not like a carry by any means. I don't really feel that way about Ravener or Kraken either. They're solid complementary heroes, but they're not like, boy, that guy is going to come in and wreck us. So I feel like the Legion side has, both Hag and Warbeast I think are harder carries than anybody on the Hellborn side.
Yeah, and I think the Hellborn's window is closing a little bit. They got a little bit of extra time because of all the shrunken heads picked up on the Legion side, which keep them alive, but at least don't kill the Hellborn quickly. But once they start picking up their next round of items that have a little bit more damage, it's going to turn in Legion's favor. I think Hellborn's going to want to get that top tower, and that's what they seem to be doing right now. Because if they can get two lanes of
and Drunken Master's
creeps,
go for bubble, he's in a ton of troubles here. Going to take the Shell Surf away as Ravener pops the barbed armor on top of the bugs. The turret there very well placed, and he will be able to portal key away. Shrunken Head and ult on Warbeast, but he's not going to find anybody. So multiple jumps here. Actually, Hag Bat Blast hits a couple, will finish off Rabs, but he takes the Kelp Field now. Put a Shrunken Head up, and he's going to walk out.
He might get the bubbles now.
Release the Kraken's dropped onto Pestilence. He's going to pop the Shrunken Head, though, as well. DM chasing down this Engineer will find the kill there. Pestilence going to fall here in the meantime. And now DM probably going to... No, nice Void Talisman there on the Pyro. Staccato stuns there, doing a bunch of damage, but man, Rapsy gets dropped immediately. Warbeast's going to activate the ult once again, as he's now looking to get away. So too much dive there from the Legion side. They had a really nice pick onto Ravener, and Hag activated the Shrunken, ran away, was totally fine, and instead they tried to reinitiate, and that was not good times for them. So a little too much greed, I think.
Though Hag did survive.
Hag did survive, but, I mean, they picked off the Rav and the Engie, and in exchange lost Drunken Master, Pestilence, and Rhapsody. I don't think that was a positive trade for them by any means. And now it looks like Hellborn's going to push down middle. Nice Void Talisman there on Pyro as well.
Yeah, DM was just standing there with his foot in his mouth.
Kraken doing a bunch of damage to this tower. Should be able to kill it. Glyph active, maybe not. As the ports are coming in. Meanwhile on back, Pyro Storm Spirits himself, but he's dead. Takes the Haunt, tries to put some damage on it. Nice Void Talisman, but that's just going to make the Haunt damage even worse. Kraken ports out in everybody's face. And mid tower does fall in favor of the Hellborn. As really this bot Rax is, I think, a huge deal. The fact they have to keep defending this is really causing some problem for the Legion side, I feel like. Despite the fact that they're down by 14k gold and 7.5k experience, if they didn't have that bot Rax, I'd feel comfortable calling this almost an even game, just because the longer this goes, the stronger Legion will get. So, a couple of Hellborn heroes scouting out the Legion woods here. Invisrune on Bubbles. They're looking for a pick, possibly find Warbeast here.
I just saw Kraken has almost 5,000 gold.
Yes, he does. And he has Bash.
I have to wonder what he's planning to build with that.
Onto Kraken, but that's followed by the counter by the Ball Lightning. Bat Blast into 2, actually 3, as Bubbles get hit. Immediately, Pestilence falls. Bubbles going to run away. Nice Rhapsody ult preventing all the damage, and Kraken's in some trouble. Will die here. Haunt on Rab preventing the portal key. There's the Ball Lightning, and he jumps back in. Nice PK away, so he should be alright here. Nope, Hag going to find him,
Actually, after watching that fight, Kraken really could use a Shrunken, because once he had the Haunt on him, he kind of ran around doing nothing. So he's got that Bash, and he didn't hit anybody with it for a full 8 seconds. They just kited him just out of reach the entire time. And Rhapsody got great positioning for her ult. She stood in the trees, couldn't really be seen, and just... Bash now on Warbeast. That makes him a lot scarier than he was.
I'm kind of surprised Kraken doesn't have a portal key.
I'm surprised he doesn't have anything. He has 5,000 gold that he's not using.
I guess the initiation is sort of taken care of by Ravener and Bubbles. And Engie, for that matter, with the jump. But, I don't know, seems like if you put a portal key on Kraken, actually there'd be a 5 portal key team right here, and they could just... That'd be hilarious. They could just jump in on people and destroy them. Anxious being down here by the Legion side, and they will get spotted by Hellborn's heroes, but nothing doing.
And poor Rhapsody still sitting on nothing but Striders.
It's the life of a support when you have a jungler, man. It's just, there's no... Nice steal here on these Ancients. the double PK. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about when I
Yes,
say
you do.
that this sucks, because
1 and 11.
there's that. So I mean, she's getting destroyed in these fights, and that's a big reason why she doesn't have any money. But I mean, the other thing is, you're the only person warding this game, and that means regular wards and counter wards. So
Also, Pyromancer is the second highest farm on this Hellborn team.
that's a good point, and it's kind of crazy. I mean, she's pretty stacked. Void, Pushbook, Storm Spirit, Portal Key, like Kongor killed one on meanwhile, and this is just about dead.
Kongor has been slain.
So another token here for Kraken. And so I'll finish off some Ancients here, and there's no mid tower. Top tower is nearly dead, so it's looking like we're going to see a push in here from the Hellborn side, as Bubbles and Kraken are headed over. So he bought something. Kraken has no money anymore, but I don't know what he bought. Courier is coming in. Wingbow.
Interesting choice.
I did not see that coming.
I did not either, but I guess with the bash, he's just trying to get that crazy attack speed,
Yeah.
get him more splash attacks. I don't hate it.
I don't either. I mean, with the
Increases his
evasion, too.
tankiness.
With the evasion and the return
If only,
damage there.
if only it gave him range.
I mean, like now, when he drops the release of Kraken, he can pretty much kill anybody just by bashing the crap.
I
out
don't
of
know
them.
if he even needs it. Just between the bash and his attack speed.
I think that'll be good. The problem is there's so many escape mechanisms on the Legion side,
Yeah.
Blink and the Stagger and the Impel Stun from Pesty plus the Portal Key. Torrent there on the Drunken Master. As look at him just, man, that's some attack speed right there. Pesty gonna jump in the back, puts the stun on the 2 and the Shrunken Head. Void Talisman up from Engineer though, as that's a Shrunken cooldown now for Pesty, and nothing really happened there. Bugs are on Engineer, but I don't think he cares that much.
I mean, he still has the void, so he
Up
can
there,
void that
and
for
DM puts
4
the Shrunken
seconds.
Head up, looking for the initiation here. Nice Bat Blast. Rhapsody ultimate cannot actually do that. She's just out of range. Bubble Storm Spirits himself
Yeah, he
will
missed
die
that
anyway.
completely.
Rhapsody guys as well. Shrunken Master getting taken down. Kelpfield hits a bunch. Warby's going to fall here. Hag will just barely... Nope. There's Rav, and he will pick him up. That's game all of a
That's,
sudden.
yep, there's the good games.
So that was all of a sudden a 4-for-1, 5-for-1 exchange, and that's the game. So well played there from Don't Care. They take the series 2-0, so Fatality here getting knocked out of the Season 2 playoffs, and Don't Care will move on to the consolation match, trying to get to the second group stages. But pretty good timings, I think, there from Hellborn's side, knowing when they needed to push, knowing when they needed to fight. And more than that, Legion felt like they were just never really a team fight team. They were more of a pick-off type team, and it didn't feel like they executed that very well. I don't know, maybe I'm alone.
A Legion barracks has
No,
been
they
destroyed.
didn't have the ward coverage throughout the game because there was 2 supports on the Hellborn side. They kind of always had vision of everywhere, so they were never caught out alone. They did a good job of sticking together, and the only people they ever really caught were the Kraken, and he was so tanky that his team would get there and the fights would turn around. And when they did get fights like that one in mid you pointed out, they picked off the Ravener, and then they kept going and really didn't need to,
Yeah, I think
and turned a solid gang into a lost team fight.
the other thing I want to point out is the choice to jungle the Warbeast. I don't think that was the right decision to pick that hero if you were going to jungle him, and it just doesn't feel like that's a viable strat. Like, if you want to run a jungle Warbeast, I'm not fundamentally opposed to that, really. It's just, I don't think you can have this greedy a lineup. Like, you have to have a little more support for him to make sure he gets that early start. He doesn't have to come out of the jungle. He can just free farm like crazy. 322 GPM on a Warbeast is awful. He can't do anything. And his items are fine, but like for a 40-minute game or whatever, he just wasn't nearly tanky enough, nearly dangerous enough. And I felt like part of that was because he had to maneuver around the rest of his team. And Warbeast, if you're going to run him in a pure farming role like that, not as a secondary carry, and that's sort of what it felt like, with the jungle as opposed to the suicide, you got to create space for him. He needs to be the focus of everything, and it didn't feel like he was there. So I'm a little bit concerned there about that Warbeast pick, I don't think they had enough team fight. I think the carry was fine, but when it came to the 5v5 engagements, they had some issues. Final thoughts?
You pretty much just summed everything up. I actually really liked Don't Care's play. I'd like to see them go deep in this. They seemed well coordinated. Their drafts were good. They had some unconventional but fun item pickups like the wing bow and the barbed armor that really did well for them.
Yeah.
And I was extremely impressed by both of their support players. Like, Pyromancer had just a horrible start, bouncing back and forth between top and mid lane. She was level 1 when the Drunken Master was level 4, and he came back and did really well that game.
I'm not even sure if that would end up being a support Pyromancer. 145 CS was the second highest on this team. Like, they were letting him have some farm there pretty clearly, so... I mean, nonetheless, very impressive. 390 gold per minute almost, but no question. Some nice play there from Pyro. So that's going to be it for this series, as Don't Care do take it 3-0. Sorry,
Though he's not tagged up, so I wonder if we'll see him again.
Yeah. Neither is Marcus Boy, though, and he's been playing with Don't Care for a pretty long time now. I think pretty much all the games I've casted with them, he's been on that team. So, anyway, that's it for this game, and that's it for this series, as Don't Care take it 2-0, and we will see you